Howdy folks, and welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Let's Fill That Can. Today we're going to be reloading some 9mm 115 grain jacketed hollow points, CCI small pistol primer number 500, and Ramshot silhouette powder. And you know we're going to be using this high-speed tactical MTM primer flip tray because we are doing some plus P loading today. And by the way, these are plus P loads, do not copy my data. So we're here on the 550. And we're gonna go ahead and get some cases out. Put this aside here. Now let's go ahead and fill those tubes. Here's the CCI small pistol primer number 500. There's a 100 pack. They're almost never facing the same direction, so we're gonna have to flip them. Simple drop into the tray, pick her up and shake. "15 hours later, we get them all together and we gotta put our lid on. Hold firmly together, and there's our tactical flip, ladies and gentlemen. Remove the lid. Now it's time to fill your tube. And there's 100 now up to the press over here. Pull off our buzzer, take out the follower, place your tubie and pull the pin. Give it a few taps and make sure we've evacuated our primers and reset your pin. Buzzer goes over first. Follower goes in second. Here we have some miscellaneous nickel-plated brass at the Dillon 550. We're gonna come up to our Lee carbide sizing die, knock out any primer that we have left over, as well as resize the whole case. On the downstroke, we add our primer. Up here we have to introduce our powder into the hopper where it fills our case on station 2. And we've got our seating stem matched up as best we can with these hollow points. Sometimes if they fit incorrectly you can cave those in, which will sort of impede their ability to expand properly, and that's what you want your hollow points to be doing, right? Lastly is the Lee factory crimp carbide die here. Not only does it give you a nice taper crimp, but it also resizes the entire body of the case just to make sure everything's in spec and smoothed out for a beautifully finished product. And we're not going to be adding the sealant today, but this is what we're going to end up with. And no primer, of course, because this one's our dummy. Time to add our powder. We're going to remove our lid from our hopper, and it's nice if you have a funnel nearby. Got this at the hardware store. You just chop the bottom off of it so it's not 6 feet long, and that'll help us dump our powder in without spilling everywhere. There's definitely no way we're going to use all of this with 6.8 grains at a time, but it's nice to have a consistent weight to the column of powder on your measure. Even if you have a baffle or whatever, a little superstitious, but to me it seems more consistent, you know? And we'll help that get settled, because you know it takes maybe 10 or 15 or sometimes 20 or 50 actuations of the measure to get it kind of dialed in and settled on its final dump of powder. So we're going to go ahead and try that several times here real quick and get that dialed into our desired weight. So to set up our powder measure, I have this beautifully mangled up case with this primer that got smashed in sideways. That's pretty sick. But I use it to set the measure because the mouth is already belled out like a nice trumpet. So we don't need to worry about sizing or priming. And now our powder won't spill out. I think I used this for 300 blackout last time, so it's set for like 16 grains or something of whatever powder I had. I'm gonna go ahead and just crank this sucker down a whole bunch so that it doesn't drop like 6 charges worth of powder into this little itty bitty 9mm case. And then it's this direction. I don't know how much that is, but okay. So I got my scale set up over here. We'll get dialed in and I won't make you watch all this whole mess. I'll be right back. We're perfectly dialed in. There's our case fill, and it's not compressed, I don't think. I think we're just under that amount there. We'll replace our locator pin here. And I had a note stuck in the jug of brass that said check for pins stuck in the freaking flash hole. Because every once in a while I'll get 2 steel pins there from the wet tumbler stuck in the flash hole. And when you try to come down on the old decapper, it doesn't just go right through. It actually breaks your stinking pin off. So most of these are already decapped, but you can see we have a couple just because they were from different batches or whatever. But sometimes I'll have a pin stuck in there, so I gotta watch out for that. Ooh, yeah, that CCI primer goes in beautifully into that Winchester 19 brass there. Heck yeah. So much easier than those Gen X we're doing. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Very sticky. Shit, I didn't put one over here. Haha. Let me just do one and we'll see what we end up with just for kicks. So now we'll rotate and seat us a bullet. Ooh, look at that. Now we're gonna crimp and smooth out the whole, the whole body there. Careful now. And boom, there's our first one. Oh yeah, looking pretty good. And you can see that supposed Coke bottle effect you hear about. That's because of that carbide body sizing die. And it's really nothing to worry about. The brass will fire form out, and yeah, doesn't matter one bit. I reckon I should go grab a gun so I can do the plunk test, make sure that one works, so I will be right back. Alright, we went and retrieved the old Hellcat, broke it apart. Now we'll test it out at the moment of truth. Wow, that was beautiful. Did you hear it? Ooh. Blah. That's just plunk-tastic. Incredible, folks. Good stuff. Let's freaking go to town on this. So there we are, visual inspection for an old primer. Brand new one right there. Boom. And we're going at it. Do remember though, if you set it up and only ran one case and you were adjusting your overall length, when you have all 4 stations loaded, it's going to have a slightly different overall length. So please keep that in mind. And there we go, powder, new primer, seat your bullet, new brass, resize, reprime powder, seating. 3 out of 4. Now we're fully loaded. And I bet if we go to measure those first 2 rounds, they'll be different than the rest, up until we get to the very last, like 2 or whatever. That's not nickel. That's an imposter. S&B. That's just really light colored brass there. You almost got me. Not today. Not today. We're running nickel only, baby. I mean, it's pretty gross and dirty looking because I washed it and didn't really do anything except water, and then it was just muddy and I ran it for too long, but it's cleaner than it was when it was covered in mud. And I can throw them in the tumbler, the dry tumbler, with some polish. Probably make them real purty like. Well, anyways, as you can tell, we've been going to town on shotguns lately, 12 gauge specifically, and just getting started with 20 gauge. We just got a whole bunch of buckshot cast up. You saw the powder coating for that. That was pretty cool. All that stuff applies to normal projectiles cast out of lead. Well, handle's turning. Better tighten him up. Just drop some of that stuff. Make sure to be really loud because people are sleeping. Beautiful. Oh shit. Don't double charge. They primed. Okay. That could have been bad. I almost double charged and blah blah blah. Handle is good to go though. So now we need to rotate to a new case. We got seated, crimped. There's a seated bullet. There's powder. This one has a primer. This one's brand new. Okay, now we got a primer coming in. Perfect. Except I didn't see the bullet. Jeez, I'm an idiot. Now we have to pull this one out. Let's set here so I don't lose it. And then we'll have to dump this one because it's going to get another charge of powder. Okay, so we'll pretend we didn't screw that up. We're seating a bullet here. We're going to get powder over here. And on the downstroke, I'll add our piece of brass because we don't want to kick out that new primer. That costs like $18 for a single piece of primer, right? Okay. Ooh. A little sticky, okay, and in with the brass. We've already primed. Don't push down too hard, dummy. Anyways, like I said, we've been doing shotgun stuff lately, so I seem to have completely forgot how to do this. So I guess we need to slow down. New brass, bullet. Perfect. Nice and easy, nice and steady. I got used to working on that load all. Yeah, this piece of blazer looks ugly. Into the scrap you go. It's not worth it with one piece of brass. Just toss that stuff if it's questionable. Definitely a couple ugly pieces in here, but about 99.9999% of this is totally serviceable. But I've got this one. Looks like it was in some gravel, might have been stepped on. The case mouth is a little janked up, but it's already been resized, so I'd say we run it. Okay, so we're down to our last 10 or so primers. We're going to hear the buzzer go off in the next few cases. And that'll be 100 rounds just like that, folks. Can you believe it? So fast when you're, gosh dang, sticky case mouth. Goes so fast when you're on a progressive. Doesn't mean you have to go fast though. It's better to go nice and safely. Visual inspection for powder drop, bullet seating, checking your brass. Always inspecting every time you handle it. That's just a given, so you know, check out the primer pocket, any splits on your case or whatever. It's not a rush, not a race. No need to rush. And once we do hit this buzzer here in a minute, we'll be down to maybe 6 primers, I believe. Ooh, we made contact this next one. It's going off. That's good because we have people sleeping, so get ready for it. Boom. All we have to do is flip back that little arm that would be activating the sensor, and then replace your follower so that we can get the rest of these to feed out smoothly. No big deal at all, man. It's a piece of cake. So, hope you guys are doing just swell lately. Hope you're having a good summer so far. Anybody have any big ass plans? Doing anything major? Going on a vacation? You buying a bunch of new guns? You going shooting? Did you join the local club? You should if you haven't. Have you taught someone new how to shoot? You should do that too. Bring in a newbie. And we're out of primers. Let's just make sure, yep. That's the old try and true method there. See if there isn't one caught, but I think we're good. Make sure not to send it back and get more powder because we don't need that. Okay, we'll take our case back out because we're not adding a primer there. And there's only this one here to add a bullet onto. There it is. Here's our last one. Boom. Bingo. Well, folks, there you have it. That was 100 rounds on this episode of Let's Fill That Can. Jesus Christ, that's loud. Anyways, thanks for joining, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next video. Have a good one.